Well, good morning. The subcommittee hearing will come to order, and welcome to today's hearing, Protecting Clean American Energy Production and Jobs by Stopping EPA's Overreach. Now, as many of you know, this is my last hearing as the chairman of this subcommittee. I'll get to that in a little bit. But it is fitting, in a way, that my journey here in Congress is ending exactly the way that it started, with a focus on oil and gas. I first visited a drilling well in the heart of my district in September of 2011. The company told me they were just, quote, looking for oil. Not long after, they stumbled upon one of the largest natural gas reserves in the world, and the shale revolution in eastern and southeastern Ohio was on the way. This was before I joined this committee, but even then I knew I had to work not only to preserve these good-paying oil and gas jobs in my district, but also work to advance policies to achieve American energy dominance, while never apologizing for our abundant, affordable, God-given natural resources. 13 years later, I'm proud of what my team and I have accomplished, but that work is far from over. There are serious threats to American energy security, which affects both the economic freedom and public health of the American people. Today, it shouldn't come as a surprise that the United States not only leads the world in energy production, but also has one of the lowest methane emission rates in the world. As a valuable commodity, operators have a huge incentive to capture and sell as much methane as possible. And they're innovating constantly to lower unwanted emissions. Additionally, methane emissions are already regulated by the states, and the EPA's new proposal only serves to present duplicative and burdensome requirements. Then the EPA is expected to publish the rules for the IRA natural gas tax, or fee, if you want to be technical about it, on top of their methane rule sometime in the next few weeks, though there is no guarantee of that. The EPA is also expecting producers to collect information for 2024. That will be the basis for the tax collection in 2025, yet the rules of how that is intended to work are not even out yet. This is an unworkable regulatory structure for American producers, particularly small and mid-sized companies. There are about 9,000 independent oil and gas producers in the United States. These companies are responsible for developing 91% of the wells in the United States, producing 83% of America's oil and 90% of America's natural gas. These companies are not big oil, as is so often described. On average, they employ just 12 people. And this suite of methane regulations will crush these small businesses. We will hear from 3 of these small producers on our second panel. Mr. Montalban from Montana, whose third-generation family business employs 15 full-time employees. Mr. Eastman, who employs about 35 people out of Midland, Texas. And Mr. Martin from Michigan, who started his company, Miller Energy, with his cousin in 2017. These are not the big guys, but we should listen to them. They employ our neighbors and our constituents. They quite literally help to keep the lights on. They'll give us their perspectives on how aggressive EPA's overreach is emblematic of this administration's war on American energy. Now to conclude, and I'm going to ask for the indulgence of the subcommittee, my ranking member particularly. I got a few things I want to say since it's my last subcommittee hearing that I'll be chairing. I want to take a moment to express my gratitude. First, to all of my staff, the ENC team, to Mary Martin and her energy and environment staff for doing the extensive legwork and working the long, late hours behind the scenes to make all of this important work happen. I want to thank our chair, Chair Rodgers, for her leadership, for her support, for her vote of confidence in the work that we've done. It's been an honor to serve as this subcommittee's chairman, and while it's been contentious at times, I believe that we have collectively fostered a productive conversation on an extensive, wide variety of issues that matter to the American people, from chemicals and supply chain to support our manufacturing sector, vehicles and transportation, fuels, energy production, and grid reliability, just to name a few. It just doesn't get more important than that. I also want to thank my colleagues. It's been a pleasure to work with all of you. To my vice chair, Dr. Joyce, my neighbor just to the east in Pennsylvania, thank you for your friendship and your leadership. And to Ranking Member Tonko. Paul, I've enjoyed our time here together, and I want to express my gratitude to you for your compassion and collaboration in our work on this subcommittee, particularly as it relates to how we responded and got answers following the East Palestine train derailment in my district. And thank you so much for your friendship. And I started to thank you for the chocolate because I thought it was you that was putting it there. And I just learned today that it's Mary that's been sneaking those things in here. My wife wants to talk to you, by the way. And to the new members, a number of you are just starting your journey on the Energy and Commerce Committee. And I hope that you have felt listened to and that you could make your mark on, in my view, the most consequential subcommittee on energy and commerce. I'm biased, I understand that. Please make the most of your time here. You never know when the policy debates here will hit close to home. Mr. Goffman, thank you for being here. I know that we disagree strongly on many issues, but I have enjoyed our working relationship together, and that goes for you, the EPA staff, and particularly Administrator Regan, who I have built a very, very close, cordial working professional relationship with. And I'd like to think that our committee oversight has been tough but fair. And I do believe at the end of the day, we do share the same goal to keep the environment and the American people safe and prosperous. I also want to believe that we may have had a breakthrough in collaboration that will benefit the American people as you do your important job. I look forward to the conversation that we're going to have today. And now I recognize the ranking member, Mr. Tonko, for his opening statement.